Hey, welcome back, guys. This is Chris Hammer here with Betr. Just want to go over a few things for beginners. So this is an introductory level video. Just mainly want to navigate through applications, some basic terminology, and what you need to know before you get started sports betting, or what you should need to know. So if you are new, this video is for you. If you've been doing it for a while, I would say this video is not for you, so you can just click off of it because I'm going to bore you. So, all right, let's dive in here. First things first is you're gonna need an account. I typically use Hard Rock, but another one that I like is called Wager Attack, which I'll go over. But yeah, so I'm going to go over something that should be very, very helpful. This is also on my website, betr.com. This is the Betr Blueprint for Success. This has everything that you need to know, and then some about sports betting. First things first, let's just go over basic stuff. Once you get your deposit in, whatever the amount is, you want to have some sort of a strategy. You don't just want to start betting and playing games. But I would recommend going with someone like myself that can kind of navigate you. You need a guide, you need like a trainer, you need someone that can actually put you onto some stuff without doing parlays and crazy stuff. So first things first, if you're brand new, I would not recommend parlaying. Just save yourself some time, headache, and money. If you want to parlay for fun, parlay for fun. But first things first, just developing a skill or a sport that you actually follow is important. So you shouldn't bet sports that you don't follow or watch regularly. I like football. Football seems to make sense for me. It's easy. Something that I thought was easy is NBA. NBA is extremely difficult to bet on. So yeah, make sure that you actually follow the sport yourself. So think of it as investing. You know, you're not gonna just like blindly invest into something without watching it yourself. So I would recommend picking your favorite sport that you pay attention to for starters. Let's just go over what a favorite is and what an underdog is. So if you see, we'll just use yesterday for example, Kansas City was -2.5. That means they are the favorite. They are expected to win based on odds setters. Pittsburgh Steelers, they were the underdog. They're +2.5. That means they are not supposed to win according to odds makers and lines makers. So most people typically like betting the favorite if they're new. Some people like to pick an underdog. So it doesn't really matter on that strategy. That's just what the numbers mean. So negative number, negative spread means that they're favored to win, and they have to win by more than that amount. So they have to win by 3 points for you to cover the spread. If you bet on a team that's +2.5, that team can lose by 2 points and your bet still wins. So that is what favored and underdog means. Let's go into some other stuff here. Statistics, I don't get too wrapped up in statistics unless you're doing like prop bets or player props. You can do those if you like, but I'm just trying to give you the bare basics here. So once you have your app and your login, you can go and you can check out what games are playing for the day. So today, we'll use, for example, we've got Seattle and Chicago Bears. In this case, Seattle is actually the favorite. They're favored by 4, meaning they have to win by more than 4 points. So if you click -4 on your box on your application, that is what you're betting. Also, there's things called totals. Totals meaning the game has to either go under 42 points or over 42 points combined. And then you can also just bet who's gonna win the game, money line winner. And here, the Seattle Seahawks are -210, meaning you have to bet $210 for yourself to win $100. Chicago is +175, meaning if you bet on Chicago to win outright, a $100 bet would pay out $175. So that's kind of how you can read these. You can scroll between different leagues. I like Hard Rock. It's only available in certain states, but that's how the app works, and that's how you place your bets. As far as some stuff that I get asked a lot, like fading the public. Fading the public just means that a lot of people will research the stats on all these different websites and try to see what the bet percentages are on the betting public. I think that stuff matters only when it comes to prime time. I used to be a lot more into that, but now, especially this season, favorites are winning. Public favorites are winning at an alarming rate. I wouldn't really focus on that too much. Plus, it doesn't really account for sharp betting and sharp money or sharp action. So there is a lot of other strategies you can do other than that. So, if you were to only follow that system, you're not going to make money. A lot of people think that that's a big component on what I do. It is and it isn't. It just depends on the game, and it depends on the magnitude. I think that really comes into play for primetime games. So if you're doing a primetime bet, it's worth looking at. It's like one factor that I would consider. But so public betting percentages, we covered that. This is an important one. It's almost a trick, but the impact of key player absences. So whenever you will see a team list a player as injured, especially if it's within the 2 to 3 hours before tip-off or kickoff, I think the injured player is one of the biggest things that they do to manipulate the mindset of bettors, and I think it actually has an opposite effect. So if a team lists somebody as not playing, it normally affects the betting spread in the line. I think, and I have a theory, that you should actually bet on the team who just reported an injury right before the game, because they're going to cover the spread. So that is one of my tricks and hacks, I would say. It's very, very common that the team that lists a last second injury still wins, or someone's a game time decision and then now they're sitting out. Magically that team wins and covers. So don't get pump faked or faked out when you see an injury report with a star player missing. I don't think that it has a lot to do with the betting markets. If anything, it's there to just kind of trick you and trap you and get you to think that it's a big impact when it's really not. So key player absences. Now, if the whole team, I've seen it before where the whole team has the flu or something like that. The whole team's, whatever the case may be. I've seen it rarely. That's a different story. But I'm talking about just key player absences only. Bankroll management. This is a popular one, and I address this in every video. I'm going to address this, at some point in greater detail. Sometimes just I might hint on it. But unit size. How do you determine unit size? The unit size, it really depends on you. So if you deposit $1,000 or $10,000, you need to make your bets a certain size. But I'm a firm believer that you should not bet every single game the same amount. That is where win rate or win percentage comes into play. I'm not a big guy when it comes to that. I made the majority of my money in sports betting from appropriately slamming games that I had heavy conviction on. So I have like a term called the max bets, which I actually sell just max bet information only. That's the games that I'm going heavier on. It's a good idea to know what side I'm on to help you out. So not only do I have a whole panel of information that I decipher from, I have my own stuff as well. So the max bets, I think, are the key. I think you have to get good at quality plays, and you have to eliminate the quantity of plays. I've been a part of sports groups that, I mean, these guys are betting 5, 10, 15, 20 bets a day. And even if they hit at like a 60% win rate, depending on the juice that they're laying, juice is another term which just means how much vig that you have to lay. So for example, the Chiefs were -145 vig, -145 juice. That just means you have to risk $145 per $100 won. So that is a term that I call juice, also known as vig. So you want to make sure that you're not doing, in my opinion, anything that's more than like -130, just because those losses can compound or compile. So if you have a game that's -220 money line and you bet, whatever, $500, you're actually risking like over $1,000 just to win $500. So if that game happens to lose, you've now lost like twice the amount, and like it's like losing 2 bets in one. So you have to be very careful, mindful of not laying a lot of juice. And I believe that straight bets or single bets are the way to go. So you're just betting on one team, one outcome, and that deciphers your ticket. I think parlaying is a good way of donating. It's very, very hard to hit parlays. If you want to parlay for fun, parlay for lower amounts. But if you want to make money, I would suggest single bets and straight bets only are going to be your best friend, because you only need one result to happen. You're only waiting on one thing to happen. So that would be my best recommendation. There's also no shot clock in betting. You need to learn and exercise patience early. You don't need to bet every day. You don't really need to. You can follow certain people and maybe find people that you like. Like a lot of people hit me up just to see what I'm on. That's a good resource, and it's good to get knowledge and information from other people. But too much knowledge, it can almost dilute your own decision making. So you want to go with a few people that you like and use your own, research, use your own conviction. A few hacks here that I want to give you guys, and this is on my Better blueprint. Line shopping automation. It's not a big deal unless you're a heavy bettor. If you're betting a whole heck of a lot, I'd recommend definitely shopping sports books. The vig or the juice can range like 30 points across different sports books. So I've seen, some places you might have to, on the same game, bet $1,300 to win $1,000, and a different sports book's got it at $1,000 to win $1,000. So it's a big difference, especially if you lose. Let's go over some other fundamental stuff. Teaser bets. I've been preaching more and more about teaser bets. Teaser bets I like, especially if you're trying to bet bigger or kind of like graduate or scale up your units. Teaser bets allow you to add 7 points to the spread or total. You do have to pick at least 2 items or selections, so you have to pick a team. I normally like to do a team and total. So for example, we've got Seattle versus Chicago tonight. I would tease Seattle. Tired. I would tease Seattle from -4 to like +3, and then that's a good margin of safety. I think they're going to win no matter what. And then you could tease the totals at 42. You could tease it under 49, or you could go over like 35. Either one of those should be relatively safe, I imagine. So teaser bets are one of my favorite strategies for just safety and helping you with win rate and actually giving you like a little bit of security on your bet. So teaser bets I absolutely love, especially with football. Basketball, I don't think they help you as much. They give you like 6 points here, 5 points there. I really don't think that it's a huge difference maker in basketball. You're talking about a few points at most. Some other things. Let's see here. I'd say another hack is to like not pay attention to the media. As hard as that may seem, these places are, I would say, not in bed with, but they work together with the media. So the sports books work with the media. So you just don't want to take whatever they say at face value. So if you're seeing something blasted all over the media outlets, don't take that as face value. So use your own decision making. Do not go off of what's on ESPN for the day. Okay, let's go over some other terms. We went over overs, we went over money line, we went over spread. Parlays. Parlays are where you have to have multiple things happen in order to win. People do crazy 3-team parlays all the way up to like 10-team parlays, but I don't like parlays because you could hit, 2 out of 3, 3 out of 4, 4 out of 5, and so forth, and still lose your bet. However, the odds in the multiplier are crazy. It's more of like true pure gambling and more of I would say like a lotto ticket. So parlays, I'm not a big fan of. Prop bets are more on like the statistics of an individual. Not a big fan of these either. They're pretty tight, but you could bet like over, under Steph Curry 30 points for the game, or we'll even have it at like 30.5. So I'm not a big fan of prop bets. Some people love them, but the problem is a lot of times on these popular prop bets, if the player plays and they gets injured, like Luka yesterday, all his prop bets essentially lose, and I would say they would die. So not a big fan of prop bets for that reason. Future bets. Future bets are just a long-term event. You could place a future bet on like the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, and you would get like 3 times your money back, something along that. 3 times your money back, maybe even 4 times your money back. Not a big fan of futures bets. It's like holding a ticket for a long time. It's not in my strategy at all. They are fun if you can accurately predict, who's gonna win. I think it's more fun, but you gotta wait forever for your ticket to cash or lose. Hedging. Hedging is placing a bet on the opposite side of your current bet. I'm not a big believer in hedging unless you've got a lot of money on a parlay, or let's just say you bet a team live, or let's just say you slammed a game and that team is up. Your ticket is up, like 16 or 20 to nothing at halftime. You could technically hedge and bet the other team to win because their odds are so high that they're not going to win. Sorry, their odds are so low that they're not going to win. So if a team goes up like 21-0 at half, the team that has 0 points, they're going to be like 20-1. You could bet like $100 and it'll make you $2,000 if they were to magically come back. That's the only time that I would even consider hedging. I'm not a big fan of hedging. I don't know, not a big fan. Exotic bets also are known as teasers. So those are like non-traditional bets, multiple events. Live betting, if you're new, I would stay away from it. It's more for someone who's more experienced, I would say. But live betting gives you a great opportunity and chance to get better odds and better value during the game. But it also can be a trap. So let's just say I think live betting is a lot better for basketball. I will give you that nugget. Football, it is, but it isn't, because like in NFL, let's just say the team that we'll use yesterday, for example. Let's just say you wanted to bet on the Steelers and Chiefs scored the first touchdown. The live spread was plus 10.5. after the first touchdown, so you get a better value on it. Not that that would matter or that that would cash out because they ended up getting blown out. But yeah, it just provides an opportunity for you to get better value. So that's live betting. Sharp. A sharp is a professional or knowledgeable bettor who makes well-informed bets. I am considered a sharp, someone who has an edge on the sports book. Not at all times, but oftentimes. So just because I'm a sharp doesn't mean my bets can't lose. So we talked about fading the public. Let's talk about middling. Middling is something where you try to hit both sides of a game. I don't really recommend this either because you can lose. But an example of middling would be, say you have the over on a game and it's over 49, and then there's a lot of points scored early, so now the live total is like 71. You could bet the under 71, but you already have the over 49, and if it lands in that range, you'd hit both. It's just something that I don't try to do, but I see people try to do it sometimes. Bankroll is just the total amount of money that's put aside for you to bet. Dime, nickel, you know, those have different definitions, but a dime in my world is 10 grand, nickel is 5 grand, but also it can be described as what type of line the sportsbook offers. So if it's a dime line, it's -110 is their average bet. So it takes $110 to win $100 per $100, if that makes sense. And then a nickel would be -105 per $100 bet. So that's a nickel line. Let's see, round robin. I'm not gonna cover parlay stuff. This is for the new person. Backdoor cover. Backdoor cover means it wins at the very last second. A lot of NFL games will win and cover backdoor. It's an exciting way to win, for sure, and it happens all the time in NFL. It's pretty much all I have as far as, you know, making sure that you have a budget. Don't, you know, bet outside your means. Make sure you get an app that you actually like. I recommend Hard Rock or Wager Attack. Those are my two favorites. They're easy to use. They're very user-friendly. You can get, you know, withdraw and deposit fairly easily. That's another thing, like why I don't like Bovada. It takes forever to get paid. So some of these are easier to use and easier to get paid. I like those where you can move your money around a little bit quicker. Line movement, reverse line movement. Try to give you an example of reverse line movement and line movement. So let's just use Seattle, for example. I'd say most people that are betting this game have got to be betting on Seattle. So line movement that would be like normal to me is it would go from maybe -4 to -5 or even -6, indicating that Seattle should cover these points. Reverse line movement, which would kind of freak me out or scare me, would be like if Seattle was -4 and then it moved from -3 to -2. That would kind of scare me because then the line is shorting, and shorting against the favorite, that would kind of be like a red flag, or just a game that the odds makers are trying to play with you. So whenever my bet, the line works against it, I'm a little bit hesitant. So normally that happens in like college basketball totals. You'll see the line move on the overs and unders, and that can, if you see line movement on a total and it's more than like 2 or 3 points, typically there's a big reason and sign for it. So, you know, if it's, let's just say you have an over 135 and then the total moves to like 131, I would say that's definitely going to go under. Something to look out for, mainly on totals. The spreads kind of move throughout the week for football and stuff, but if the line is going not in favor of a popular team, that normally means that they are trying to get you to take that team. If it moves away from a popular team, like Chiefs would go from -2.5 to 3.5 to 4.5, I would be like, okay, this should be safe because they're getting a lot of action on the Chiefs. Just using yesterday, for example. NFL preview for tonight, Seattle versus Chicago Bears. Not going to overthink this one. Chicago hasn't done anything right for months. I would say this should be an easy cover for the Seattle Seahawks. They are on the road. It's -4. You might consider buying it down to make -3 or consider teasing it. Total is 42. Should be low scoring, but Seattle games are normally higher scoring. Just Chicago doesn't score a lot. So I'm not sure. The last 2 games in NFL went under, and this one is perceived to go under, so I'm going to take the teaser on the over. I would do Seattle +3 and over 35 points for tonight's game. But I do like Seattle by itself at -4. I think they handle business. I don't think it's an issue at all. But that's a little bit about just betting terms, bankroll management units, popular terms that you'll hear, and just basic strategies on line movement, avoiding parlays, and then getting with an app that you feel comfortable with. So I hope this helps. I know, if you're someone who's been betting for a while, this video might not help other than the free play, but I just wanted to drop a few gems for anybody that's new. So hope this helps. And then also download my, go to betr.com and download my ebook. It is totally free, and I think that will be super helpful, especially if you're new. So hope you guys had a good holiday, good Christmas. Merry Christmas, guys, and we'll talk soon.